when Asian people are under attack, what do we do? Good afternoon, sisters and brothers. My name is Rachel Hu. I'm an activist and organizer with the Answer Coalition. That's Act Now to Stop War and End Racism Coalition. And we're out here today for many reasons. We're out here today, first and foremost, to talk about the violence that's happening against the Asian American community. And I want to talk about a specific case, one that happened not too far away. Christina Yuna Lee was sexually assaulted and murdered in her own home. And a lot of people are saying, that's not a hate crime. Well, where's the hate in that? But I'm here to tell you that it is a hate crime. It's a hate crime because it's not only racist, but it's sexist. And we have to call it that. Because we live in a country right now where across the country on any given day, women are being murdered for being women. The term is called femicide. What that means is that we have an epidemic of domestic violence against women in this country who are dying by the hands of their partners and by the hands of men who kill them because of the misogyny in this country and because of all the hatred that women get in this country. And this is important when we're talking about Christina Yuna Lee, because we have to recognize and we have to see that the women's movement as a whole, that all women, whether you're an Asian woman, a black woman, a Latina woman, a white woman in this country, if you care about women's issues, you have to stand behind the Asian women who are being murdered. You have to. And we have to not be afraid, sisters and brothers, as Asian people, to stand up and use our voices. To say that we are not going to just stand in the shadows and cower in fear. We're not going to accept the status quo as it is. We are not going to be scapegoated. We are not your punching bag. And we are not here to take the blame of what is the fault of the capitalist system, the fault of the millionaires in Congress and the billionaires that they serve. That's who's the real enemy, not us. Since Asian people have been in this country, we have been called the enemy. In fact, we've been called something specific. We've been called enemy aliens. That's the term that they used to talk about Japanese people before Japanese internment. We were spies. We were people who were disloyal to America. And because of that, we were traitors. That is our history in this country. That is how they see us. And as soon as the U.S. doesn't do anything for poor people in this country after a pandemic, they don't do anything, they don't give us meaningful money. They don't help people that don't have jobs. They let people get evicted during a pandemic. They let people starve during a pandemic. Whose fault is that? They say it's our fault, the other's fault, the enemy aliens' fault, the Chinese people's fault, the Asian people's fault. That's who they blame. No blame for them. No blame for the horrible response and the fact that billionaires got more wealthy during the pandemic than any other time in history. That's not the problem. Let's not look at that. It's Asian people. That's who's the problem. They're the virus. They're the ones that are at fault. And what I want to name this and what I want to say about this is that what this is that this is war propaganda, friends. It's war propaganda. And we have to call it that. We can't be afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm not going to sit here and be afraid that they're going to call me a traitor because I name what's true. I'm not a traitor. And more than that, even more than that, that's racist. And we can't give in to that. We can't be afraid to name what's going on and how U.S. foreign policy has everything to do with Christina Yuna Lee's murder. It's not disconnected. We can't pretend that it has nothing to do with each other. Because every single time we have racists who come on the television, like our Tucker Carlson, we had a man say that the U.S. military needs to recruit men who want to sit on a throne of Chinese skulls. That's what they say. This is war propaganda, friends, and we are the ones who are being scapegoated right here in this country for their agenda abroad. We have to stand up and say no. And we have to not be afraid as Asian people to educate those in our community, to talk about this, to name the root problems. Because the root problems are without a doubt the U.S. Cold War on China. It's not about what you think or feel about China. It's about the fact that the U.S. wants to do everything it can to make sure that it has hegemony, has unilateral control, can do whatever it wants around the globe. Whether schools, or you see it with all of the tax dollars, the trillions of dollars that they don't have for us for Build Back Better. It's the trillions of dollars that they have for war abroad. We are not their priority. Working and poor people are not their priority. It's war. And Asian Americans, we are the ones paying the price. We are the ones who are going to be thrown under the gears of the U.S. war machine. And so we have the most to gain by naming that. We have the most to gain as Asian people by fighting back against that. So I want to tell you as I close that I am proud to be Asian in this country. And I think all of us need to be proud. Be proud of what we have accomplished, be proud of everything that we are, and be proud of all of the people that came before us to fight back. Yuri Kochiyama was an anti-war activist who fought her entire life, not just to end the U.S. war machine, but for black liberation. We have to see what our place is in history, and it's to fight against the U.S. war machine, it's to fight against U.S. imperialism, and it's to fight for our communities to get out of the poverty conditions that we are forced under because of a racist system. So I want you to say it with me. I want you to say it with me as I close. I want you to chant. I want it to be loud. I want everyone here to hear you. When Asian people are under attack, what do we do? Stand up like that. When Asian people are under attack, what do we do?